Hello, everybody. I'm Dean Miller, the dog counselor, and I'm hoping there are people out there listening and watching because I'm ready to talk to you about dog training today on the Wolf Driver channel. I'm hoping some people join us today. I know it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. At least it is here in Nashville. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, broadcasting live, and it's a beautiful, beautiful summer July day. My dogs have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. And other than being a little hot and humid, it's a beautiful, perfect day. And I hope it is where you are, wherever that happens to be today. I see some people joining us, so hello and welcome. Again, I'm Dean Miller, the dog counselor, and every Sunday and Thursday, Sundays at 6 p.m. Central and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central time, I host a half-hour program about dog training. I am a behavior specialist and have been training for probably around 15 years, maybe a little over 15 years. I've been teaching dogs and training dogs. I have a background in two things, dogs and music. I decided a long time ago, I'm going to take a little detour here and talk about myself. So I don't want to sound self-absorbed, but I thought you guys might be interested in hearing a little bit about myself. I am and my qualifications for talking to you about dogs. I spent the early part of my life in music and the music business and entertainment. I've had dogs since the day I was born. When I was born, my parents got a dog for me when I was born, and so I grew up with dogs from the day I was born. And I've always had an affinity for animals, an intuitive sort of communication skill with them. Nothing psychic or crazy. I just tend to have empathy for animals and understand them when I'm with them. And then with dogs, I have a particular affinity and a particular connection. And so, as I progressed in my life and was in music more and more, I got more into dog training as well. And I started realizing that I had a real knack for it, and that I then began looking around at people's skills and abilities. I looked at other training methods, other trainers, other teachers, and I started thinking, I agree with some of that. I don't agree with some of that. Some of that works, I know. Some of it doesn't work. And I just began working with dogs, not in a structured sort of way. I didn't go to school and study dog training from other people. I decided I would take the dog from where they are and say, how are they solving problems with each other? And I would develop a method of training based on methods I knew worked from other trainers and combine that with what I was learning watching dogs solve problems with each other and communicate with each other. So one of the most helpful things that happened to me, I began working in dog facilities. I worked in dog boarding facilities, grooming facilities, and daycares. And I worked in one particular dog daycare where it was cage-free boarding. And they would let sometimes as many as 60 or 80 dogs free in a free area. And I would have to learn how to control and work with 60 to 80 dogs at a time. And if you don't become controlled and in control fast, in a situation where you have 60 or 80 dogs, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose quick, and you're going to become the outside human who doesn't get what everybody's doing. So by watching these dogs interact with each other and solve problems, that's particularly what I did. I would say, how do they solve problems with each other? How do they work out social standing and manners and demeanor and all that stuff? And so I learned much of what I know now about training by working with large numbers of dogs who were loose with each other. And then I began putting that into a form where I could go to people's homes and address their problems in about 90 minutes, an hour to 90 minutes. Because I know that most people, we have lives, we have jobs, we have stuff we go to, have stuff we do. And most people don't want to go to a class once a week and stand around at night and learn how to sit, stay, and lie down. They want somebody to come to their house and solve their problems. And I knew if I could do that, I would be able to, first of all, offer a solution to people. People would hire me, so I'd have a business. And I knew that if I could get into people's homes and work with them, with their dogs, I would not only just fix their problems, quote unquote, but I would be able to provide an understanding of dogs in a way that many people don't understand them. So this is maybe an odd word to use, but I look at my dog training as a sort of a ministry. And I don't mean a religious ministry. I mean that my dog training gives me an ability to go to people and around the country and around the world. And through my book, which, by the way, my book, A Dog's Way, available on Amazon.com and at thedogcounselor.com. Anyway, there's a quick plug. But I thought if I can take my quote-unquote ministry to people's homes and they'll open up their minds to me, I can teach them to understand dogs in a way that many people aren't open to. And if you can reach your dog from where they are and understand them and the way they communicate and who they are, you're going to be off and running. It's sort of like dealing with a person who speaks a different language. If you don't speak Spanish and you're dealing with someone who only speaks Spanish, you're going to have a hard time. So I knew that if I could go into people's homes and help them to understand their dogs and open their minds and hearts, the time before I go to a home, my goal is, this is my goal. I go to people's homes and from the time I arrive to the time I leave, I hope that each person has done an internal transformation to where they understand themselves and their dogs better. And I believe that that happens 99% of the time when I go to people's homes. You know, not everybody's prepared to, you know, they're not, you know, some people are good at some things, some people are good at other things. I'm good with animals. Maybe somebody else is good at fixing cars, okay? I'm not good at fixing cars. So when I go to someone's house, I don't expect them to become master dog trainers and understand everything I'm talking about dog training. I just expect to open their minds and hearts in a way that they maybe have more empathy toward dogs and toward other animals, maybe more awareness of their own bodies, their voices, and how they're communicating with their dogs and what they're projecting out in the world. So, you know, through learning about your dogs, you can also learn about yourself and bring that into your life and how you treat other people and how other people treat you and kind of how you walk through life. So I've always said dogs are great teachers to us. They help us learn about ourselves and we learn about them. And it's just a beautiful relationship. And so that's what I try to bring to my dog training. It's not so much just training. It is understanding, communicating, transforming, and having empathy and an emotional connection to your dog. In fact, the slogan for my business is The Dog Counselor, teaching through love, discipline, and mutual respect. And that is what I want to have with my dog. I want to have love, of course. Everybody loves their dogs. They want to be loved by their dogs. I want to have discipline because a dog thrives on discipline. And just like having a child in your house, you must have structure and discipline or it's going to be chaos. And I want to have mutual respect. You know, we have to respect the dog has to respect us. And you don't usually have respect for another person or animal. You don't have respect for someone who doesn't respect you back often. So we have to gain mutual respect. I respect the dog respects me. Then when we have this mutual respect, we want to do for each other and with each other. And once the dog has respect for you and you have respect for him or her, you're going to meet in the middle and desire to do things for each other, desire to make each other happy. I believe in the philosophy of training that your dog should want to do things for you, not be forced to do things for you. So that's a little bit about my philosophy, a little bit about my background. I did say I was in music for quite some time, and I just decided when I hit 40 years old, I kind of said to myself, look, I'm going to stop working for someday, working for when. I'm going to get up and I'm going to just love everything I do every day. I'm going to get up and I'm going to love the work I do. So whether that's music or dogs, those are the two things I love most in life. And I have decided to devote my life to both music and dogs. And so that's what I do. So there's a little bit about me, Dean Miller, the Dog Counselor. Now let me get into some specifics of training. I wanted to talk to you about some training things. And today I have decided on the subject, the topic for today's show is what I call the 3 P's, okay? And those aren't maybe peas in a pod. That's the 3-letter P's. And I'm going to say what they are, and then I'll be more specific in a minute. But the 3 P's to me are presentation, praise and affection, and possibilities. Now, let me go down the list one by one what I mean by those. Presentation. Let's talk about presentation. I'm sort of basing this topic today based on a training session I had earlier this morning. And by the way, let me interject. If you'd like to send questions or type questions or remarks or comments, I'd love to hear your comments and remarks. I'm happy to answer them. If you want to just type to us right now and type to me right now, I'd be happy to try to answer your questions or discuss with you. So I love the discussion back and forth here on this live feed. We are live at the moment. So, all right, presentation. Let's start with presentation. I believe that your dog is not as interested in what you're saying or the words you're saying or the topic or the subject matter. They're more interested in your presentation. What are you presenting? So what I mean by that is, what are you presenting with your body language, with your voice, with the confidence of your voice, with the confidence of your body language? Are you submissive? Are you strong? Are you confident? Are you weak? Are you scared? What is your body? What is your energy, your essence? What are you presenting? So I often say, if I meet somebody and they're nervous or uncomfortable, you know, when someone is nervous or uncomfortable, and so therefore they make you nervous and uncomfortable by the way they're being. Ooh, they're nervous. Ooh, they're uncomfortable. So, you know, when someone's relaxed and confident and content, they make you relaxed and confident and content. It's an unspoken energy, and if you don't believe that there's an underlying energy or vibe to everybody, you're sadly mistaken. We're not just surface creatures, okay? So your dog is picking up more on the truth of what you're presenting. They're picking up on the truth more than they are what you're saying. So what I mean by that, an example of that is, for example, what if I said to you, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared of you at all. I'm not afraid. I'm definitely not afraid. I'm not scared of you. Well, what I'm presenting is fear. What I'm presenting is I'm scared of you. I'm not, my words are saying I'm not scared of you, but everything else is saying I'm scared of you. So when we're training our dogs, all right, and we say, stop it, sit, quit, no, stop it, don't. We're not presenting to the dog, stop it and don't, in a way they feel like they want to stop it. We're presenting someone who is frustrated and out of control. So when I say to a dog, stop it, don't, sit, clap, no, they're not hearing the words or the meaning. They're seeing a frustrated, out of control human. Now, when I look at a dog and I say, sit, move, no. Sorry, pal. I did that and my dog Flip froze. Okay, I wish you could have seen it. He went... like he thought he was in trouble. Okay, so you're not in trouble, buddy. I love you. But it works. Clearly it works, right? He had no response to me doing all that other rigmarole and loudness, but he did have a response when I became alpha-like, when I said, no. What I'm doing when I do that is I'm trying to present like a dog. I'm trying to be like a dog and just sort of, hey, right? In a way they understand. I don't want to have this back and forth yelling frustration. So presentation is everything with your dogs, okay? Presentation. What am I presenting? Am I presenting this? Am I presenting this? Am I presenting this? Am I presenting this? Think about it. I often say, if you'd like to try an exercise with your dogs, try to get them to do what you want them to do with 0 words. Use the sound of your voice, use your body language, and see if you can get your dog to sit or come to you or whatever. But try it without words, because words are last on the list of how they communicate. So that's the first P, presentation. What am I presenting to my dog? Next, I want to talk about praise and affection, okay? Praise and affection are so valuable to a dog. They help with training, they help with teaching, they help with your relationship with them, they help with trust, love. They really help with, I'll tell you what praise and affection really helps with, self-esteem, the self-esteem of a dog. That's why oftentimes when we're over-praising and over-giving affection, and that's not balanced with discipline or structure, a dog often gets such a self-esteem that they get an ego about it, that they think, I am going to be the king of this house. I'm going to run everything, because all we do is praise and love on them, and we don't give them any expectations. So that's like having a kid, right? If you have a child and you have Disneyland and ice cream all day long, you tell them how wonderful they are, but you have no expectations of them, that doesn't create balance. That creates a kid that's out of control with thinking everything they do is perfect. And that's not a healthy, balanced relationship. Your dog is, a living creature who wants to have a healthy, balanced relationship. So we want to balance praise and affection with discipline and structure. So praise and affection, if you think of it as, it's very meaningful to a dog. And if they think of praise and affection as much as valuable as money, okay, a dog can become very possessive about praise and affection. I've seen many dogs where you're petting one dog and then the other dog comes over and shoves himself between you or pushes that other dog out of the way or demands your hand, nudges you to pet him. That's because praise and affection are as valuable to him as food, as toys, as any possession. So if you remember that praise and affection are so important to a dog, they treat them like something they own or dominate, then use that praise and affection accordingly. By the same token, we can really pour it on, we can overly pour it on. So for example, we're trying to get our dog to calm down. This is a really common mistake that happens with me all the time. You want your dog to calm down. The dog finally calms down, and we go, "Good boy," and send them through the roof again. Or we're trying to get them to do a simple behavior like sit or stay. They finally sit, and then we go, "Good boy," oh, and give them all this praise and affection. So you're sabotaging your own training, right? Praise and affection can come in many forms, and one of the things I highly recommend in my training is that when you get your dog to finally do what you ask, you want to praise calmly. So if I tell my dog sit or stay and they do it, I'm going to say, "Good boy, good girl, good boy," because I'm creating calm with my voice. They hear 3.5 times to 4 times the level humans do. So when we go, "Good boy," we're just ramping everything up, right? In fact, here comes Penny. Penny just heard me say good boy, so, or good girl, so she's coming in to check out what all that's about. See, it escalates the situation. It doesn't calm them down. So I believe in calm praise. Good boy, good girl. That's very sweet. Good girl. Of course, there are times to be excited. There are times to have fun. You're playing ball or you're playing a game and you want to say, "Good dog," and all this stuff. So that is a time. But just use your praise and affection. Think of it in the same way as giving out paychecks or money. Do it in balance. A kid can have ice cream. They can't have a gallon of ice cream. A kid can have $5. They can't have $5 million. Okay? We have to find structure and discipline even with our praise and affection. So now I'm going to come back to the third P in the 3 Ps in just a second. I need to do a couple of things. I run my own little thing here. That's what we have with live streaming with Facebook. I have to check the time, so I click the time to see how much time I have left. I'm doing fine on time. And the next thing I want to do is read our comments, so I can maybe help some people with comments. I will come back to the 3 Ps in a minute, in just a minute. So we have a comment here. Okay. Kimberly writes in and says, "My husband is terrified of any dog that is off leash in our neighborhood, and it affects our dog's behavior because they don't believe he is calm and assertive, a calm and assertive pack leader." Okay, there we go. That actually leads me into the next P. We've talked about presentation, praise and affection, and now I want to talk about possibilities. Okay? Possibilities. Hang on one second. I want to check one thing technically. I want to just make sure we are streaming. I guess we are still streaming. Okay. Possibilities. Think about the possibilities. Human beings do this thing that dogs do not do. They project into the future. They think, what if? What are the possibilities? What could happen? What might happen? And your dog is not doing that. Your dog is living in the moment, from moment to moment to moment. They don't sit and fret about a week from now or next year or what's happening tomorrow. They're thinking about now and today. They don't even have the part of the brain that projects long-term into the future. So we do this thing that I talk about when we see the possibilities that the dog doesn't even think about, when we see the possibilities that they're not even caring about. We create what I call the uh-oh factor, okay? So we're walking down the street with our dog. We've got our dog on a leash. Everything's calm. Everything's wonderful. And we see a dog coming. or we see something that we perceive as a threat. So we immediately tighten up on the leash and go, uh-oh. Okay, so if you were standing next to somebody and you're walking down the street and that person next to you went, uh-oh, wouldn't you go, what? And you'd get nervous with them. You'd say, what did they see that I didn't see? What are they upset that I'm not upset about, right? You're projecting that worry, that stress, you're projecting that onto your dog when you do that, okay? Your dog might not have been stressed at all, but boy, he's stressed at that moment. And so what we're inadvertently teaching them is that when dogs come up, when other creatures come up, when we're having an issue, we're teaching them that that makes us nervous. So therefore they should be nervous, right? So we kind of go, uh-oh. And then we're telling the dog, be scared of dogs that come up. Be scared of other dogs in the neighborhood. Be afraid. We're projecting that onto our dogs. You know, when a parent with a child says, you know, oh, you got to be afraid of that. Then the kid goes, okay, I'll be afraid of that. They just glom onto whatever we are projecting. You know, I can go into more detail about this. I mean, honestly, when you are nervous about something, your body chemistry changes. When you go, there comes a dog, you get a little shot of adrenaline that goes through you. It's a little fear factor, and your body chemistry changes. Dogs are incredibly emotionally intuitive. And beyond that, they can smell the adrenaline shift in your body, smell the chemistry change. They know all of these things. They're very hip to what's going on. And we make the mistake of thinking, well, he wasn't looking at me. He's looking over here. He's looking at something else, so he's not tuned in. They're tuned in with their emotions, with their nose, with their ears, with their proximity to you. They're tuned in. Don't make no mistake about it. They're tuned in. They're just not looking at you with their eyes, maybe. Or maybe they are. I don't know. But the point of all of this is that uh-oh factor. And a dog, if they sense that you are having fear, okay, if you're out in the world, and a dog is all about survival, right? So your dog is about who's the pack leader, who's the alpha, and who's going to protect us if something dangerous comes around. Who's going to protect us if a grizzly bear comes around the corner, right? Well, that's supposed to be the human's job. That's supposed to be our job. But when we go, oh, the dog says, well, my parent is not in control. My alpha is not in control. Therefore, I guess it's my job by default, right? So the dog may not even want the job, but boy, you're telling that dog something's making us all nervous and I'm not able to handle it. So the dog's instinct is to say, okay, move, I'll handle it. And either bark or lash out or jump or be fearful or, you know, maybe your dog doesn't react at all. Maybe your dog is confident enough and calm enough that they go, oh, that's just dad, right? But in many cases, the dog is freaking out a little bit inside. Who's going to handle this? And dogs are dangerous because dad just told me with his behavior that other dogs are dangerous. So what we want to project in that situation is not the uh-oh factor. We want to project, I got this. I'm your parent. I got this. I'm totally in control. So when we see another dog, we want to take a little control. Hey, we're fine. Stay. Got it. Totally. And even if you're a little bit nervous, okay? Fake it. Fake like you're not nervous, okay? A little goes a long way. There's you know, if a bully's picking on you or you go into prison or you have a tough situation, you are going to have to, act tough or people are going to walk all over you, right? Well, the same thing with your dog. Fake it till you make it, I always say. Here comes a dog. I may be nervous on the inside, but I'm going to use my voice and my body to say, hey, move, got it, come, right? I'm acting like a tough dog. I'm using my voice like, hey, short, sharp. So, you know, I begin acting like that. The dog will start to, this is what often happens, the dog starts to relax because they feel like someone else is taking control, okay? You say, I got it. You know, just like a child. Let's say you're walking up on a haunted house or something the child is scared of. You don't want to go, I don't want to go in there. It makes the kid terrified. But if you say to the kid, hey, I got you, take my hand, come on, let's go. That attitude calms the child, calms you on the inside, and helps alleviate the situation. Now, some dogs obviously are too far gone. They're lunging at the end of the leash. They're freaking out. You know, okay, those are situations that require more and maybe some professional help. And by the way, I do provide professional help in the Nashville area. I do home visits. If you're not in the Nashville area, I do Skype visits. You can contact me online at thedogcounselor.com. We can set up a Skype meeting, a phone meeting. I can even do smoke signals and Morse code if you want to. I also travel, so if you want to book me and have me fly to your city or help you with your dog training, I certainly do that as well. I've done it many, many times. So back on topic here, fake it till you make it. You want to be an alpha dog, and you want to be an alpha dog at other times in your life too. Maybe at the front door, maybe when there's food around, times where you can demonstrate I'm the boss, so that when it really matters, here comes a dog down the street, you're in total control. Okay? So now we have the comments are lighting up. So let me just see what people are saying. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so it sounds like I answered that question for Kimberly. I hope I did. You can email me too, so I'd be happy to help you. Let's see here. It's the same with horses. That's true. Lisa is writing in and saying it's the same with horses. They can feel the smallest muscle twinge. You have to be the one to make them feel safe. That is absolutely true. You have to remember that an animal, their first instinct is survival. Their first instinct is what's going to keep me alive. Human beings go, oh, it's a nice neighborhood. We got locks on the door. Nobody's going to hurt us. Okay, we have the police and alarms. Dogs don't know that. Animals don't know that. They think any minute a wolf could come around the corner and eat us, right? So they have to think in terms of survival skills. That is the first thing on their mind. And so you want to demonstrate to your dog or your horse, you want to demonstrate, I got it. I got your back. I'm in control. You relax. Just like we would say to a kid, look, to a child, you don't worry about the mortgage and the light bill and all these things. Just be a kid. Don't worry about all the tough stuff in the world. Just be a kid, right? So with your dog, we want to say, hey, I got this. I'm in control. You just be a dog. Go relax. Have fun. It's a great gift that you give to your dog by being their leader, by being strong, by being in control. That is a gift that you give your dog. It's a deep need inside dogs that they have that real desire to be led, to have a leader, to protect them, look out for them. So I would highly recommend that you think in terms of leadership for your dog. All right, let's look at some more of these comments here that we've got. The time just flies. I've got 3 minutes left here. My guy always decides to walk where he wants and not where I want to walk him. I can certainly help you with that. That is something that Nina wrote that question. I would have to come meet with you or have a Skype meeting, or we can have any kind of in-home training. But I can't really tell you in 2 seconds online how to get your dog to walk perfectly on your leash. But I can certainly help you with that, and it does help to project an attitude of leadership. That is part of it. Okay, so, oh good. All right, Kimberly says she's going to have her husband watch this video when he gets home. If you would tell your husband, another thing that I would advise is when he's nervous, don't concentrate on what you're nervous about. Put your thoughts on something else. So behave like a boss. Hey, come, stay. And then start thinking about the beach or your favorite vacation spot or your favorite meal or some ice cream or whatever. Just think of something pleasant other than this situation, because the more we focus on what if, I'm afraid of that dog, what if, the more we expand the problem, the more we make it worse, and you need to just relax. So if you can put your mind somewhere else, act like a boss, things are going to go much, much, much better. Okay, so I am going to again recommend my book, A Dog's Way. It's subtitled How Dogs Make Us Better People. This is me and my dog Henry on the back, if you want to see Henry. That's Henry, and he is very beautiful. Okay, so this is on Amazon.com. It's also available at my website, thedogcounselor.com. Anybody want to write to me through thedogcounselor.com, dean@thedogcounselor.com. I'm happy to answer your questions. I'd love to set up a Skype meeting or a phone call or come to your home and visit or travel to you. Whatever it is you need or want, you just please let me know. I can certainly help you with all dog issues. Please tune in here Sunday nights at 6, Thursday nights at 8 on the Wolf Driver channel. Thank you to Bill Hellman, the Wolf Driver, who has given me this opportunity and platform to talk about dogs and dog training and share my advice. I'd love to help any of you who need that help and advice. Again, Dean Miller, the Dog Counselor. Please, please, please be kind to your dogs, and let's talk further next week. I look forward to sharing more and more training advice with you, okay? So we'll see you soon, and thanks for watching the Wolf Driver channel.